Hello and welcome to the Aussie Football Passport, your one-stop pod for updates on your favourite Aussie men and women who are playing their club careers abroad. I'm your host Alex, and this week we have the return of the WSL to cover, including a bench appearance for a star Matilda, as well as some derbies for our Aussie ladies. We've also got Socceroos action to cover, and our under-23 lads kick off their Asian Cup qualification campaign. But without any further ado, let's get into the headlines. All right, some transfer news. And Tom Glover has departed Middlesbrough after mutually agreeing to cancel his contract on deadline day. So this means that Tom now has the ability to negotiate a new contract elsewhere outside of the transfer window, as it is now shut. Of course, he's currently in the Socceroos side and was an unused substitute. So hopefully his agent is hard at work to get him a new club. Will it be down under or will it be overseas? We will find out shortly. Now, Emily Van Egmond, she has signed a 2-year deal with Leicester City in the WSL. She leaves Birmingham City, who are in this WSL2, or the second division of English women's football. Of course, she has previously played in the WSL with West Ham back in 2020-2021. And further transfer news, Denny Jonro has signed a 3-year deal with Melbourne Victory after being let go from Deportivo La Coruña in the Spanish second division. So big signing for Melbourne Victory there. Well done as Denny returns home. All right, now some other headlines. Sam Kerr, she was on the bench for Chelsea in their WSL match against Manchester City. Manager Sonia Bompastor said after the game that it was only due to the unique match situation that saw her remain on the bench rather than getting some minutes in that one. So great to see that Sam is nearing her return from injury. Of course, she's been out for over a year now, so we shall keep you updated with the WSL's next round of fixtures coming next weekend, and hopefully she gets some minutes. Now to our under-23 lads who begun their Asian Cup qualifiers in style with a 14-0 thumping of the Northern Mariana Islands. Can you believe it? The goal scoring included a 4-goal haul from Nathaniel Blair, braces from Jing Reek, Ethan Alagich, Yaya Dukuli, and Joshua Rawlins, while Reese Bozanovsky and Aidan Hammond scored a goal each. Well done there. But the action continued with the lads following it up on Saturday, sweeping aside Timor-Leste 6-0. Nathan Paul picked up a brace this time around, while Nathaniel Blair scored a penalty. Matthew Grimaldi, Jing Reek, and Aidan Hammond rounded out the scoring in that one. The next game is against China, who are equal top of the group. Australia are ahead of them on a superior goal difference as at this current time. So all the best to the lads, and we will find out who tops the group in next week's episode. Now to the senior men, the Socceroos. They snuck past New Zealand in their first game of the Soccer Ashes with a 1-0 victory in Canberra. Coach Tony Popovich selected a new look starting 11 with Connor Metcalf, Patrick Yazbek in midfield, Milos Degenek in defence, and Martin Boyle on the wing, the only survivors from the starting side that secured qualification to the FIFA World Cup 2026 with that famous victory against Saudi Arabia in Saudi Arabia back in June. Paul Izzo became one of 3 debutants as he started in goal for this game. Nicholas Milanovic and Max Balard also debuted in this game when they were substituted on in the second half. Jordan Boss was the main spark for the Socceroos in this one. They did look a bit disjointed, it's fair to say, in attack until some substitutions became the turning point for the Aussies. The 73rd minute saw a triple substitution with Nestori Irankunda, Mo Toure, and Nicholas Milanovic coming on for Adon Drustic, Martin Boyle, and Connor Metcalf. Then in the 85th minute, Ryan Teague was replaced by Max Balard, and they were the key moments. We will cover a little bit more later in the podcast, so stay tuned. But the return leg will be played on Tuesday in Auckland at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and we will bring you the result of that game in next week's episode. All right, that is it for the headlines this week. Let's head to the weekly wrap. All right, so let's start our weekly wrap with our ladies abroad, and let's start in the USA, where the Portland Thorns finally got a win, 2-1 against Racing Louisville. Mackenzie Arnold, she played the full game in goal, while Caitlin Torpey played 63 minutes at right back before being substituted off. So congratulations, girls, on that win. Courtney Vine, she got 65 minutes in North Carolina Courage's 1-1 draw with the Utah Royals to round out our Matildas in action in the USA. Now over to Mexico, where Emily Gilnick played 80 minutes for Monterrey as they lost 4-0 to Tigres. Ouch. Poor Emily there. That's not the kind of results you want to be a part of. Now, in Sweden, Daniela Galic, she played 65 minutes and provided an assist for Vizio in their 3-2 win over Rosengard to start off with a great performance there in Sweden. Now, Jada Wyman, she got the full game in goal for AIK as they went down 1-0 to Pattaya. Now, Courtney Nevin, she played the full game for Malmo in their 2-1 loss to Hammarby, and I believe that would be Courtney Nevin's first loss since she joined Malmo in mid-season. Now, the spoils were shared between our ladies as BK Hacken took on Kristianstad. A.V. Lewick, she played the full game for BK Hacken in defence, while Amy Sayer played the full game for Kristianstad, and Remy Simonson played 89 minutes also for Kristianstad there. Now, Polly Doran, she got 80 minutes for Linköping in their 2-1 loss to Växjö. Now, let's head to England. As we made mention at the top of the show, the WSL kicked off, and let's start in London with one of a couple of London derbies that occurred over the weekend, where Arsenal came out 4-1 winners over the London City Lionesses. Of course, we had a few Aussies involved in this one, with Steph Catley playing the full game and providing an assist for Arsenal's first goal in that one. Caitlin Ford, she got 32 minutes coming off the bench in the second half there, while Kyra Cooney-Cross remained on the bench for the Gunners. Alana Kennedy, she made her debut for the Lionesses and played 83 minutes in defence in that one. Now, speaking of debutantes, Emily Van Egmond, she made her debut for Leicester City as they unfortunately lost quite heavily to Manchester United 4-0. Seems to be a little bit of a theme for a couple of our Matildas in this week's episode, unfortunately. Let's hope they bounce back next week. Claire Wheeler, she came on as a second half substitute as her side Everton thumped Liverpool in the Merseyside derby 4-1. Now to the other London derby that we made mention of earlier, Tottenham Hotspur, they defeated West Ham 1-0. Not only was it a London derby, but it was also an Aussie derby where Claire Hunt played the full game for Spurs, helping her side to a clean sheet. Katrina Gorry, fortunately she played the full game, but unfortunately for her, she gave away the penalty that won Spurs the game, playing in midfield for the Hammers there. Charlie Grant was a late substitute for Tottenham, coming on in stoppage time there. Now, let's head over to Germany, where we had another debutante, Hayley Rasso. She got 14 minutes coming off the bench in the second half for her debut for Eintracht Frankfurt, in their 5-0 win over Essen. Now dropping down a division to the second division in Germany, where Alana Murphy came off the bench to make her debut in unfortunate circumstances as her side, SC Sand, went down 5-1 to Bochum. Now to Italy, where Winona Heatley played the full game for Roma as they beat AC Milan 1-0 in this Serie A Women's Cup. Now over to Sassuolo, where they managed a late equaliser in a 1-1 draw with Ternana in the second game of the Serie A Women's Cup for Sassuolo. Jessica Nash, she played the full game in defence and picked up a yellow card. So a tough afternoon for the defender, although, it helps that there was that late equaliser. Her teammate Jacinta Galabadarachi, she was substituted in the 61st minute of that match. So that's it for the ladies for this week. Now, to our men, of course, there wasn't much action because it is the international break. However, some leagues do press on, and that is the case for League One, or the third division of England, where we had a couple of our players in action. Caleb Watts, he scored an absolutely wonderful swerving goal for Plymouth Argyle in their 4-2 win over Stockport County. We will make sure to share that one on social media because it's an absolute belter, but it wasn't enough for him to win Player of the Week, hint, hint. All right. Now, speaking of League One action, Rafael Borges Rodriguez, he made his debut for Wigan Athletic. Of course, he made the switch from Coventry City to Wigan Athletic last week before the transfer deadline. Anyway, he played, he was a late substitution. He came on in the 88th minute of that 2-2 draw in a highly entertaining encounter there. Now, to the Spanish second division, where Agua Mabil played the full game for Castellon in their 2-1 loss to Cordoba. A bit of a rough start for Agua and his team Castellon, but hopefully they can turn it around next week. Now, the top flight of Portugal, interestingly enough, had a couple of fixtures on the weekend. So it means our man, Anthony Carter, he was in action. He got 18 minutes off the bench as a second half substitute for Santa Clara in their 1-0 win over Estoril there. So well done to Anthony and his team. But that is it for the weekly wrap. So next up is Players of the Week and the end of the episode. Can you believe it? This one is flying by. Stay tuned. All right, Players of the Week time. And if you are a regular listener, you probably get the hang of how we do this sort of thing. Of course, we made mention of Chelsea earlier in the show and didn't make mention of a certain Matilda that played. And yes, it's Ellie Carpenter, who is our Women's Player of the Week. She made her highly impressive debut for Chelsea, picking up an assist and getting the Player of the Match award there as Chelsea beat Manchester City 2-1. So great to see Ellie getting her Chelsea career off to a great start. And of course, she's quite familiar to Sonia Bompastor, the Chelsea coach. They previously worked together at Lyon, and I'm sure that it was a big part in Ellie signing on for Chelsea and Sonia, no doubt, wanting her at the club. So very interesting. Let's see how she continues to go this season for Chelsea, with one eye, of course, on next year's Asian Cup being hosted here in Australia. Now to our Men's Player of the Week. As I made mention with the women's one, if you've listened to this before, you probably get the hang of this, and I did drop a little bit of a hint as to who would win this when we talked about Caleb Watt's goal, but it is Max Balard who is our Men's Player of the Week. A goal on debut for the Socceroos. Well, it's something special, and what more could you ask for the midfielder? A great way to finish off his first game, and a late goal it was. It was a great finish as well. Well worth checking out. Again, we will share that one on social media for you to have a look at. Speaking of social media, go check out the Socceroos accounts as well, where there was a lovely embrace between Max and his dad after the game. Very emotional stuff and really, really great to see. So exactly what you want to see, really, to be honest. And no doubt we'd all sort of feel the same if that was us in Max Ballard's shoes. Well, that is it for another week of the Aussie Football Passport. I'll stop my rambling now. I hope you did enjoy this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and rate the show on whatever platform you are listening to this on. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Amazon. Make sure you also follow us on social media. We are on X, Facebook, and Instagram. And as I said, we will try and share those goals. And of course, the Max Ballard embrace of his dad after that game in Canberra. All right, now just a quick note, next week's show, it will be out a day later than usual. So my apologies in advance, but we will be coming to you next week. Just don't stress. It'll be a day late. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you in the next episode, and it is goodbye for now.